that it's been 15 years. It's just incredible. And as I look around, I think to myself, you look an awful lot younger than you do on the radio. There we are. There has been a moment at each and every Lakefield Literary Festival to honor Margaret Lawrence, sometimes many, and we are going to have a very special moment, such moment, in just a few minutes. Across the country. I can say that now in firm conviction because I've hosted almost all of them, and authors and readers flock to this event, and it's sold out venue after sold out venue. The vast achievements wouldn't be possible without, and now I'm going to be very specific, and I'll begin with the sponsors, the founders of the feast. The sponsors of this dinner are the Lakefield IGA, Ross and Carol Lesto. And the village florist, Sue Boyko. And our sponsors include Happenstance Books and Mars, Gassel and Associates. That's Jim and Sue Gassel. And I should mention Martha Watley and Julie Dillon over there. And Jim and Sue Gassel and Dr. Catherine Kirk, Remax Eastern Realty, and Mike and Aileen Dean, I believe you are here. Adventure Outfitters. As you know, the festival began as a tribute to the memory of Margaret Lawrence, and there are always many moments at the festival when Margaret and her writing is honored. But we've always made a special point of honoring her at this dinner. It is, after all, held on the weekend closest to her birthday. This year the festival also had those fabulous t-shirts made. I love them. The Anthony Jenkins caricature of Margaret. It's just great, and you can be the proud owner of one, of course, for a very small amount of money that supports the festival. The t-shirt is one thing, but this special moment this year is the presence of Margaret Lawrence's daughter, Jocelyn. We're very, very thrilled that when Joan Johnston, Margaret's dear friend and one of the participants and I would say therapists of the very first festival. Joan, you are an angel, and devilish too, don't worry. But when Joan invited Jocelyn to help us mark the 15th anniversary, Jocelyn said yes. Jocelyn is the former editorial director of Green Living Enterprises and the editor of Green Living and Eco Options magazines. You know her work as a writer and editor at Canadian Art Magazine, Chatelaine, Fashion, Saturday Night, Toronto Life, the Financial Post Magazine, and the Globe and Mail. And in collaboration with Jocelyn, Margaret was able to complete her memoir, Dance on the Earth, before her death in 1987. Dance on the Earth was published posthumously in 1989. Jocelyn, it's been a long time coming. We're so glad you're here. Please welcome Jocelyn Lawrence.
Thank you, Sheila. Yeah, actually, it's funny, just, I hadn't scripted this, but the posthumous publication of Dance on the Earth, I actually was reading proofs lying in bed with my 2-week-old son by my side. So it was a labor of love. But he didn't care. I just fed him, it was all right. Anyway, I'm not accustomed to speaking to people in crowds like this. My mom wasn't either, although she had a lot of practice. As everybody here who knew her, or even knew of her, she was way more comfortable sitting at her kitchen table than at a podium. But every so often she got sucked into giving a talk, especially if the date was months away. until it wasn't. And then she'd launch into routine that her family and friends, Mary Adachi is here, and I'm sure she remembers this, came to know all too well. It began with Mom saying, why on earth did I agree to do this? And so we all tried to look sort of sound suitably sympathetic, but it was really hard when we were basically wondering the same thing, because she always talked about how she hated public speaking. And then the next phase was they were going to hate whatever she was going to say. Well, they never did, of course, as far as I know. Then, as the appointed day grew closer, Mom vacillated between tight-lipped professionalism, I am definitely finishing the damn speech today, and melodramatic agonies of despair. Her not quite Scottish war cry, but it actually could have been, given Scotland's checkered history, was, how could I have been so dumb? I guess I am in some respects my mom's daughter, because speaking here at the 50th anniversary seemed like a brilliant thing to do in January. Don't worry, I'm not going to rant on about how I was an idiot and how I was dumb to agree to do this, which of course I was. I'm just going to blame my mom's and my own dear friend, Joan Johnston, referred to. She asked and I said yes, because I love her, and so I pretty much do whatever she wants. In fact, I'd like to take a minute to acknowledge Joan's place in my mother's life, in mine, and indeed in the growth of this festival. Joan and Mom were friends long before my mother became ill, and once Mom was diagnosed with cancer, Joan basically went into high gear as a friend, and helped her in ways that only a true friend can. She bought Mom clothes, she did laundry, she of course typed up the audio tapes for Dance on the Earth. And probably best of all, she told hilariously bad jokes. Mom was always a sucker for a good laugh, and Joan was notorious for her sense of humor. Joan was also an important supporter of an advisor to this festival in its early years because of her connection to my mother. These days, Joan's flesh may be weak, but her spirit, as always, is willing. She was actually cracking a few really awful jokes earlier this evening. She's extraordinary, and she is here tonight, and I'd like to take just a second to all give this wonderful woman a hand.